hate rich people.
I truly believe that we are in the best and most disappointing era of fighting games that we have ever seen.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man.
Is this serious?
And that's not because these games are bad. These are some of the best games in the franchise, with technological innovation bringing these games to new heights that you would have never imagined if you were playing them in the arcades damn near 30 years ago. But disappointing because there's a problem with these that underlie and infect them like a plague. Modern day gaming monetization. Just when you think you've escaped your Fortnites and your Call of Duty Black Cell passes and all that other garbage, bam! Something is thrown at you that you were just ultimately disappointed with. And unfortunately, this has infected fighting games as a whole. This isn't exactly an issue that's infected every fighting game. For example, Strive is still relatively simple with its monetization, but the top of the mountain is definitely infected, with a majority of people's fighting game Big 3 showing very bad symptoms with no clear sign of recovery. And that being Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter. With this new generation of fighters and them knowing that they're at the top, they thought that they could have been just like Call of Duty when it popped off with Warzone. And so far, every single thing they tried to monetize, the community has literally whipped right back at them. And I want to dive into that because I have a lot to talk about. What these monetization practices are, why they failed, and honestly why I think monetization practices are very much different for different video games. Let's start about the community's main gripes with monetization like this being in fighting games. And here's a pretty good pointer. This is free-to-play game monetization for games like Fortnite, Apex, Call of Duty Warzone that people could just download and play. That kind of monetization doesn't work for a full-priced game. I live in Canada. Stuff like that is pretty pricey around here. Street Fighter 6 costs $90 Canadian, and Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat 1 costed $100 to $105 Canadian. Those are pretty pricey games. And nowadays, when you buy full-priced games, you think to yourself, okay, I paid the full price for this video game, so they won't have to charge me things like battle passes or item shop skins or emotes, because I paid full price and all this will be redeemable, just like it was in previous games where that used to be the status quo. And you would be very, very wrong. What makes this worse is that people buy fighting games knowing that later on they'll have to pay DLC, which is, you know, your basic character passes with new, returning, or guest characters coming into your favorite franchises to bring in the fight. And that's pretty much the only thing that most fighting game players are pretty comfortable buying, cause it's actual things that will matter to the game and bring a hell of a lot new content. Something costumes do not really bring. And another issue that most people have with customization was that back in the good days of fighting games, give or take 5 years ago honestly, customization used to be a lot more accessible to the players, and was something you could just earn by playing the game and not pulling out your wallet, your credit card, the numbers, and the 3 numbers on the back. Tekken's 5 to 7 had fight money that allowed you to earn stuff while you got in fights, and that would help you customize your characters to your heart's content. Mortal Kombat 1 used to have the Crypt, a dungeon crawler that allowed players to enter the depths of the crypt to get treasures and riches, which were usually costumes and other cool things that you can unlock. And although Street Fighter may have had paid costume packs, they were all really cheap at the time, about $4 to $5 for costumes for a fair deal of characters. Nowadays, it's not like that. I think the biggest issue nowadays with video game companies is that they think that they can make the same success monetizing Fortnite like they will with their game, and that's not the truth, because we're not stupid. And fighting games were never like that in the 30 years they've been around. And monetization like that just doesn't work for the community, which is why they've been so vocal on why they don't like it. Now, with that pretty much out the way, let's talk about some of these practices that our fighting games have and why I just don't like them. Battle passes. Woohoo!
Hello, I like money. What?
Today's your lucky day, Mortal Kombat. As much as people like to beat on you, you don't have a battle pass. So for now, you get to sit this one out. At least not yet. Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 have something called a Fight Pass. Because apparently, everything needs a battle pass. And maybe, if they're lucky enough, they can charge us for a Black Cell variant. If you're stupid enough. It's your typical battle pass. Pay to claim good items and progress your customization and earn stuff along the way. With Street Fighter 6's, it's more of a why? What it brings you isn't really much, and for a majority of fans that play only the classic modes, it's kind of pointless. It's mainly a bunch of stuff for your World Tour character and some other random things you barely see people actually use. So, it's not that the battle pass is outrageous, it just feels unnecessary, as if it was just genuinely shoehorned in so they could fit with the time. And it just has a lot of stuff not too many people would be interested in. Tekken 8's, on the other hand, made sure they grabbed everyone by the balls.
Give me your money.
The Tekken Fight Pass is really not good. It's a more standardized battle pass, and that's fine, whatever. But what makes people really disappointed is the lack of anything new in the Fight Pass. People have noticed that in the Tekken 8 Fight Pass, every single item is recycled from the previous title, Tekken 7, where everything included in this battle pass was originally free content for people to unlock just in that previous title. From jackets and hats to portraits and hit effects, people are not happy with the fact that it's insanely mediocre what it's offering. And don't even get me started on the Unreal Engine Blender 5 ball.
Wow, this is garbage. You actually like this?
That's literally just a basic ball. It feels like a massive spit in the face to fans for what was once free and now paid for. And trust me, this isn't the last I mentioned recycled Tekken 7 content. Because oh my god, every monetization practice in this game is very recycled. Get ready, MK1, you're back up. The item shop. What's slop? Each of these games has the Fortnite item shop, one for one, bar for bar. You get costumes, emotes, and others for some really inflated prices. Gone are the costume packs, and hello to paying for individual skins like their Call of Duty operators.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!
These prices are terrible for what came before them, and honestly, it's just kind of ridiculous. Let's start off with the Tekken shop, which, by the way, was a shady business decision. I mean, release the game without the shop, have your positive reviews and your praise roll in about how good your game is and how you don't need an item shop with your quote-unquote fully completed customization, and then release a shop a month later? Doesn't exactly sound fair to the people. While be it the cheapest of the 3 game item shops, Tekken 8's is still mad disappointing. A majority of the item shops aren't new and are still recycled content from Tekken 7. But I can't lie, there are some that I don't mind, cause they haven't been in the franchise for a long time. Those being things like Tekken Tag 2's Jun outfit and Tekken 6's Military Kazuya outfit. But a majority of these outfits are ports from 7, and the fact that there's a price tag for basically reused content is wild and kind of makes it feel like this is what we should have gotten for base game customization just for them to repackage it as microtransactions, like Jin's Tekken 4 outfit and Xiao Yu's Tekken 4 outfit. And don't even get me started on the second editions for these, which are all ports. For about 15 years now, Tekken's Jeet Kune Do representative, Martial Law, always came with the iconic Bruce Lee Game of Death tracksuit to honor the martial artist, and has been free since Tekken 6 in 2007. and kind of became a staple to martial law himself. So for such an iconic skin to be free from the previous entries to come back and be $4 isn't fair in my opinion. And although I don't approve of it knowing that the game's price tag was $100, if Namco actually wanted to sell skins, we need to see things we haven't actually seen before or content from previous entries that didn't make it to newer titles. Also, you'd think the people who bought Ultimate Edition would get these for free, right? Or at least a couple bit of money? No. Mortal Kombat, as much as I want to hate on it, is the only game where if you buy the Ultimate Edition, you actually do get some in-game currency to use in their shop. Something you can't do in Tekken 8 and Street Fighter. And also, just to defend MK1 here a bit before I eventually bring the hammer down. Currency in that game is at least earnable. Albeit not too much on challenges, but players can at least earn it from beating the story mode or beating the game's seasonal invasions, which to me is a small win in the book. Anyways, for Tekken 8, what's up with these limited firework emotes? You really mean to tell me I gotta buy more fireworks?
Off is the direction you can fight.
For MK1, they launched with an item shop and a pretty mediocre one at that, with the skins there being priced around $7 each, which, hey, at least unlike Tekken, this is actual new content, but it feels pricey and feels like a punch in the gut when we used to have things like the crypt beforehand. The shop kind of being more updated than the game itself made players feel kind of disappointed, especially with that big $100 price tag. But what really set people aflame was the seasonal fatality practice, which would later be redone, but it was absolutely terrible. Essentially, our folks at Warner Brothers were trying to make people pay for seasonal fatalities, all themed within a holiday within the season, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And they were all supposed to be priced for $10 each. You have got to be joking. It felt like everything that they just threw at us felt like it should have been earnable content through the crypt, and just because they didn't do the crypt, they're selling it to us as microtransactions. This, plus the lack of content in the earlier seasons, left players leaving Mortal Kombat 1. And although I think that Mortal Kombat still has a big fan base, and, you know, people will still like this game, the taste will never leave players' minds. Street Fighter 6 unveiled its new costume pack. One, showing to the player a bunch of costumes for characters that were either teased previously or fresh looks for the character. Well, at least everyone except for Luke from Street Fighter 5. Fans were reasonably excited because every skin in the pack looks great, and assuming that Capcom would be so nice, they would probably be fairly priced. I feel like people are noticing that this pattern of people thinking that fighting game items will be cheap or, you know, earnable, and then they're just absolutely disappointed because the companies have really massive corporate greed. Fans were absolutely disappointed and bewildered when not only were these skin packs sold separately for each character, they were priced at around $6 to $7 per fighter. Someone did the math actually. To get every single skin in this pack, because they're not in a bundle, you're gonna be forking up a minimum of $100.
What?
Yippee. And this was basically the thing that broke the camel's back, cause the Street Fighter 6 item shop was not favored towards the player, mainly because they tried to monetize absolutely everything. From additional costumes for World Tour, overpriced collab skins, and having to pay real world money for character palettes. Oh, the Street Fighter community in that month of December lit a flame and was more than vocal about how much they didn't like the practice that Capcom was doing for their shop. But it's kind of starting to get a little better. Albeit still extremely disappointing because these were World Tour skins, Street Fighter 6 had a collab with Spy Family, a very popular anime, and these were actually free. And same goes with the Uniqlo collab with Street Fighter. Maybe it's just to save face, but I appreciate that maybe what happened in December smacked them in the face really hard for them to be like, oh, maybe we did something wrong. It's better than some people that are coping about it. Don't defend billionaires, kids. Overall, we're just in a really tough spot for the fighting game genre. At the core, these games are still so good, and honestly, for some, this is the most accessible and easiest games to get into. But the choices that they have just made post-launch are just straight up gross for some of these. This is one of my favorite video game genres ever. It sucks to see that these games that I loved and adored as a child have grown up to be pretty much distorted by the modern day monetization world. And if they play their cards right, like what Street Fighter is doing to fix the damage that was caused by this Outfit Pack 3, there's possible a return. But at the same time, it's just too soon to know. What a shame. To those who've stuck around till the end, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you agreed with what I said, or if you didn't agree, or if you had something to add it to the comments, and I will definitely read through them. Thank you guys once again, and I will see you guys next time.